Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
Hello.
Brian has an extra vote tonight on the Reality Guys.
You have an extra vote.
So, as you can see here in the title, we're here to talk Survivor. We are on week 10 of season 42 of Survivor. This season has flown. And if you've watched our reviews, or if this is your first time watching us, we've been pretty heavily negative on this season of Survivor. We just haven't enjoyed a lot of the dynamics, a lot of the decisions, just really just like kind of how they copied last season, which we also weren't a fan of. But I have to say, Brian, this was probably my favorite week. Not just because it was just like a great episode, in my opinion, but even some of the things that we've complained about kind of had some kind of a kind of like payoff, in my opinion. So I'll get to what I have in mind, but I'm curious what you thought about the episode before we go into any detail.
So I enjoyed the episode. I know I was in the chat and I was pissed. There was a couple things that really made me angry that we'll get to, but we talked about a lot of good camp life, I think, this week, and like some good strategy. I thought, like, people like backstabbing each other. Like, I thought that was cool. Challenge was non-existent to me in this episode, so like they really needed to find something, and I think they did. Maybe show stuff that's actually happening in camp every week that we're just not seeing, which is unfortunate if that's the case.
I want to kind of talk about obviously the Survivor do or die. So 2 seasons in a row, the person actually got the 1 out of 3 choice, and I believe they both chose the center block. It was the same on both seasons. So crazy interesting. And I do like that they do show that the other ones are actually the skulls. So there's no kind of
like BS,
and people are just doing it for dramatics. So it was awesome because we Omar has been crazy good with the strategy this whole season, especially the last few weeks. I obviously wasn't able to talk about things last week, but the decision to tell Mike about Drea's advantage and her plans, and I know you've seen that. I believe like this type of thing has happened before, right? Where people bring like a fake idol, right? Or they just don't bring their idol to get stolen. Like that's a thing, right? That's a common trope.
I think the stealing is new.
Okay.
So I think that was actually last season. I could be wrong, but the fake idol thing definitely. I'm like, when fake idols were a thing, it was definitely way cooler.
Okay.
Because they used it to trick people into like not voting for them, more of like than often giving them a fake idol. So
I think it was the right move because Drea, like they were all saying, Drea, if she got to a final 3, especially with kind of the stuff that had happened a few weeks ago, great social player, kind of has a good platform. That was probably going to be hard for a lot of them to win a vote against her. So I do think that was a smart strategic move. And obviously with her having an extra vote, an idol, and that knowledge is power thing until coming into this tribal council, it's a lot to let somebody have with 6 players because she's going to just use everything next week and she's going to keep herself safe. So it's an automatic like free week for her. So I was kind of surprised though, Brian, like, why didn't she play her idol right off the bat for herself and then use the other thing too? Like, was she so confident that she was getting Mike's? Like, it never crossed her mind that she could get screwed.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, it's funny how often that happens, where people are so into themselves and they're like, "Oh, I won't get voted out," but you can only use your idols up until like week there are 4 or 5 left. So why not just use it anyways?
That's I think something that people are going to learn from watching this season. It's good to get it, but you need to kind of start using them a little bit further on. I do like also that they were talking about possibly getting rid of Jonathan if he hadn't won the immunity challenge. We'll get to the immunity challenge, but it's about time that you start seeing some smart stuff and they're thinking about getting rid of him because again, if he gets to the end, he has a really good case to be like, look, like maybe I wasn't always the nicest guy, but I was never horrible at anyone. And I won basically every challenge and helped people get there. Like he has a good case to say that like he would get some votes. So, I mean, at this point now, I see him as a target next week. I really have a hard time believing that they're going to let him get to the final 3 unless he just wins out every challenge.
Yeah, and like looking at the preview, he's not really in the preview getting targeted that much. It's like Romeo is an object and Omer. So, and like Bill, I know the Facebook groups that we're posting, they think that he's a goat, which is just like I think they just hate the guy. personally. Like
Mhm.
it's gonna be. I actually just want him to win because how angry people will get is what I really
I don't
want.
think he's done anything wrong. I think he's played a fair game. I think he's being transparent in his confessionals about what he's doing, and he's pretty transparent with people. He's not lying to multiple people every week. He's lying to one person every week, and that's pretty good. Like he's not scrambling. The only person he lied to is Drea this week. Everyone else he told the truth to. And that vote wouldn't even been as close. Drea admitted in her thing that she used her extra vote too. So it was already there. I started realizing as they counted, I'm like, they have too many votes. So it wasn't even that close.
And she still lost. Yo, another thing that I just didn't like about Drea, which I'm sure people will love, is her send off at the end was just like calling everyone out, like you're gonna win. That was just so stupid.
It's like you shouldn't be allowed to say anything. Why are all of a sudden you going off? No one else this season did that. I don't.
Right, and then Jeff's like, "Oh, this is why we play Survivor, man. Everyone's friend." That's BS. Like she threw Omar under the bus. She doesn't
like any of them.
She threw Omar under the bus, and essentially like Romeo. I think he's gonna scramble more now.
Yeah, everyone has a little bit less sense of security because of that now, and it's going to be more frantic again. But hopefully that means we do get more camp life. It is just a shame that it took until them having this little amount of people for them to emphasize that, as opposed to when we had a ton of contestants and we could have gotten a lot more of that early to make us care more right now. But again, I'm not going to try to sit here and be super sour when I did enjoy the episode. But the one thing too that I was talking about getting that satisfaction about something I talk about is you got to stop telling people about your advantages.
Yeah.
You got to stop it. There's no reason anyone should have known about the stealing one. Tell them about the idol. There's no reason anyone should know you can steal it because there's no, why does that help any? It doesn't help you.
Bill, that one, especially more than any, you should not tell. Because you can tell someone you have an idol because then they can't take it from you. You can play it at your leisure. But the fact that you can steal somebody else's, and no matter what, why would you say it to anybody, even if you trust them?
No, there's a reason.
It happened last season too. It's the same shit. Like it almost seems to me, and I'm not going to go this deep, but like it seems like too set up where like that Lindsay got the fire right too. This Mike is smart enough to get rid of his advantage. Like I just the same exact thing happened last season, and it was also shown off screen. They showed it after the fact. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I did like that though, because I'm thinking I do like knowing that because that was cool. That was good editing. I actually had that in my notes. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just at the same time, it's like
it was like a Lee Corso, not so fast.
Yeah, right. And he puts on another mascot hat. It's just like I don't know. I just still like that one. It should be like your lips are sealed if you tell someone it's dead, and then like when. It would be even better if Jeff's like, oh, you told someone and now no matter what, even if they have it, you lose it. Like a secret. Like we need to switch up some of these idols to have a little more juice in the game.
I agree.
I think. Because where it's like, Bill, you get an extra vote, but you can't vote. That is cool. Like that's a nice payoff. I know those are out of it now because now they're amulets, but we need to have some other consequences for some of these other ones if they're going to have so many advantages.
No, I agree. And I don't think they're going to have as many or like have them staggered as early next season. I could be wrong, but I do think that they'll kind of learn from some of the feedback. But overall, I think we're in a cool, interesting place with 6 people left now, especially with a lot of the idols and things and extra votes flushed out. It's going to be kind of a straight week of the challenge really mattering. And then hopefully your alliances have held up because with 6 people, and one person not able to be voted for, only it doesn't leave a lot. So we're gonna see if that group of 5 from the beach tries to stay together, the remnants. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who do you like? What's your?
Dude, I'm starting to think it's gonna be like somebody so low key again, like last season. Like
Romeo,
or like a dude like a Marianne, even like. Because like again, like she's no one's bothering with her. She didn't speak. This is like last season again, where like she could just Romeo that they think they're all. No one talks about Marianne anymore. Not a single word about her. She is just chilling. It's like one of those type of things. I would have said Omar maybe a few weeks back, but now he's actively scheming both sides. Like I said, now everyone's kind of.
Let's see what happens with the Drea fallout. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, her saying that is basically like somebody on the circle, like leaving a message at the end saying not to trust someone. So the person they went and visited is automatically sus. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's literally the impression I got when she did that. I was like, that's a circle move.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Look out for our week 2 coverage of the circle, probably the next day or so on the channel. So, but that's all I have, Bri. Like I said, I think this is going to be one of our more positive reviews of the season. So, even though you're upset about some things,
I was upset, and it's mainly just because I think everyone except Jonathan and Lindsay are soft as baby shit. But remember, this is the greatest season. These are interesting players, interesting people, and thank God I'm not in the Facebook comments.
Well, like Brian is saying, you can check us out here if you're watching us from one of the Facebook groups or you're watching us here on YouTube. Leave comments about what you like, don't like about the season, or about our takes. We are open to talking to anyone too. If you're somebody who was on Survivor and you're watching and disagree with us, let us know, because we are open to things like that. Other people reach out to us and we are open to talking to everyone. So for myself and Brian, thank you and peace.
See you.